This forecast update effective around 12:30 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, November 26, 2013. And guys, if you missed our video update yesterday, we suggest you go back and watch it because the 12Z global forecast system model is out, and models have been trending in the back-to-back runs on a possible major swell event setting up for the east coast of the United States coming up in the forecast. We're going to show you that here in just a few minutes. But first, here's what we got still going on over in the Gulf of Mexico. We've got this area of low pressure now that's going to turn into a significant coastal storm for the northeast U.S. coming up on Thanksgiving holiday. So yesterday, we were monitoring an area of low pressure in the northwest Gulf of Mexico that has since now moved inland across the panhandle up towards northern Alabama and getting ready to move through Tennessee. That's the warm core part of this system. The cold core part of this system is now moving through Texas. This was the original area of low pressure that was sitting over Southern California several days ago, moved into the Four Corners and gave them their big winter storm that they just had. And then this is the last of it getting ready to clear. Panhandle, you're not out of the woods yet. You could get another line of severe thunderstorms pop up later on this afternoon. All of this is moving off towards the east. Western Florida, you're up next. As you can see that convection is firing over the central Gulf of Mexico. As this area of low pressure continues to move off towards the east, it's got dry, cold air wrapping in behind it. So this is going to start to clear pretty quickly as this moves off towards the north and northeast. Looking at the latest Doppler radar, you can see most of the heavy rains now through Georgia, Tennessee, and up in here moving through the mid-Atlantic. And as we get into the winds, as we forecast yesterday, looks like the winds have now switched in the panhandle. Mobile, Alabama reporting northerly winds now at 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts to 38. And in the central Gulf of Mexico, the buoy south of Mobile showing west winds now 35 miles an hour with gusts to 52. If you were to draw a line through the Gulf of Mexico, the western half of the Gulf of Mexico has strong gusty northwest winds, and the eastern Gulf of Mexico with southeast winds, and it looks like the cleanup is about to start for the panhandle. Unfortunately, it looks like, as advertised in yesterday's update, winds are going to be strong offshore tonight, probably knocking the majority of the swell down. Therefore, with the strong north-northwest flow, looks like West Florida is going to score on this swell event. When we look at the latest 36-hour forecast for the Gulf of Mexico showing strong north-northwest winds, 20-25 knots, seas building central Gulf of Mexico 10 to 11 feet in north-northwest swell, 9 feet just to the southwest of southwest Florida. As we get into what we talked about yesterday in this possible major swell event setting up for the east coast of the United States, we talked about an area of low pressure out here developing in the eastern Atlantic. That looks like this is going to be the case in the next 72 to 96 hours. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a nice northeast fetch aimed at Puerto Rico and the islands in here. Now, this setup is forecast to persist for several days, at least 3 to 4 days. Models have been hinting that this was going to sit out here and basically become stationary, and a possible gale is going to set up. When we look, once this storm that's in the Gulf moves up to the northeast, high pressure is going to build behind. We're going to get strong northeast winds developing over the western Atlantic, and so you're going to have a double northeast fetch setup, one out here in the East Atlantic and one off the east coast of the United States. Taking a look at the latest model run, here's where the low pressure is going to currently be tomorrow on Wednesday as it works its way up the coast and to the northeast. 48 hours over the northeast. This is Thanksgiving, guys. I don't think the Macy Day Parade is going to be flying any balloons, not in winds of 30 to 40 miles an hour, wrapping around through those buildings. But if you look out here towards the east, you'll see that northeast fetch is starting to set up in here, aimed at Puerto Rico and the islands and Hispaniola. 72 The GFS shows an area of low pressure in here with high pressure stacked above it. Look at the gradient in here. That's a nice easterly flow setting up. And as it gets to this low, it transitions into a northeast flow. And then over here off the east coast of the United States, again, northeast flow from high pressure moving out over Bermuda. That's setting up a nice northeast fetch in here. So as we get out to 180, guys, this is where it gets. This is, let me check the date on this for you. This is Wednesday, December 4th. And as we advertised in yesterday's forecast, we talked about possible surf alert coming first week of December. Here's the setup. Look at all of this easterly flow aimed at the east coast of the United States. All three models, GFS, CMC, the European model, are all hinting at an area of low pressure developing out here towards Bermuda. With all of that northeast fetch that we've already had set in place, by the time we get to Wednesday, if we can get an area of low pressure to develop in here near Bermuda and create some more strong northeast fetch, we could see a major swell event, seas increasing 20 to 25 feet in northeast ground swell aimed at the east coast of the United States. That's all we got for you for now, guys. Stay tuned for the next update.